And counting still underway across Indonesia, but one presidential candidate is way out in front. That's according to unofficial results. Indonesian Defense Minister Prabowo Subianto is projected to pick up around 60% of the votes. Now remember, a candidate needs at least half the national vote and at least 20% of the vote in each province to avoid a runoff. The runner-up at this point is former Jakarta Governor Anies Baswedan with around 25%. That's followed by former Central Java Governor Ganjar Pranowo with 17%. Now, breaking it down by region, Mr. Prabowo leading in the majority of the states, but it's a neck-and-neck race between him and Mr. Anies in the capital of Jakarta. There has been no declaration of victory or defeat so far, not just yet. The Anies and Ganjar camps, they have urged supporters to wait for those official results, calling attention to alleged voting violations in the election process. Let's get back to our election centre in Jakarta. Wesu has been scrutinising the results with experts and with our correspondents. Wesu, it's over to you for more.
Thanks for that, Dawn. If there has been a surprise in these results at all, it is in the margin that Prabowo Subianto appears to be maintaining and in the refusal of his rivals to concede a single inch. And our reporters who have been in the field throughout this campaign, Chandni, Vatvani, Saifulbahri, Ismail and Olivia, Marzuki. Chandni, we start with you at the stadium rally for Prabowo Subianto supporters. Prabowo's viewing party at Istora Senayan seems to be picking up. How are things looking for his camp?
Well, Wesu, clearly more supporters trickling in by the minute. This is exponentially louder and larger crowd than we saw just about an hour ago when we were here and we checked in with you as well. And just to give you some context, everybody here very optimistic, very spirited, and sort of an air of confidence very much amongst the crowd. Right there on the screen behind me, there is the quick count, unofficial quick count results from the Cyrus Network and CSIS. And if you can see, I'm not sure if you can, but if you can, it's 58.24% for Prabowo Subianto. We have 24.97% for Anies Baswedan and 16.79% for Ganjar Pranowo. So everyone here essentially waiting with bated breath for Mr. Prabowo and Mr. Ganjar to make an appearance. They are scheduled and expected to make their arrival here maybe within the hour, and the crowd here very much expecting to hear what they are hoping will be a victory speech from the Defence Minister.
And thanks for that, Chandni. We will, of course, return to you for that speech. When we do get it, we'll be back with you later on this bulletin. And Saifulbahri Ismail joins us from Anies Baswedan's media centre in Jakarta. Saiful, Mr. Anies not conceding defeat just yet. Is he still optimistic for a runoff?
Well, that's right, Wesu. The unofficial quick count results, which points to Prabowo leading with a huge margin, has been met with a disquiet mood here in the Anies camp. Both Anies and Mohaimin have left the compound much earlier. They did not stay until the end of the unofficial quick count results. Now, earlier, Anies spoke with a few foreign media, including CNA, and I asked him if he could accept the unofficial quick count results. Now, Anies said that he has to wait until the end. He said that given the fact that in the past few weeks there have been reports of irregularities, he would like to ensure that all the process is done properly so that the result is credible, and therefore it will create a feeling of peace, unity, so that Indonesians can move on. Anies also said to give the General Elections Commission time to do their job and wait for the official results. He urged everyone not to rush to conclusions and to respect the process at the General Elections Commission. Anies also said that he's optimistic he will be able to reach the second round. Asked in such a scenario, he would collaborate with the third contender. Anies replied that it was certainly a possibility. Now, the vote counting process, which is lengthy and laborious, may take up to 35 days to be completed, the maximum time regulated by the elections law. Anies' team also said that it had found many violations on election day, including vote tampering.
Oh, thanks for that, Saifulbahri Ismail there. And let's bring in Olivia Marzuki, who is standing by at Ganjar Pranowo's media center in Jakarta. Olivia, an underwhelming showing for Ganjar's team, in the quick count at least. Campaign officials also echoing allegations, as they have been doing, of electoral fraud. Bring us up to speed.
Well, Wei Su, as the quick count results, the unofficial quick count results keep trickling in, it has become more apparent that the Ganjar Mahfud camp hit rock bottom when it comes to electoral votes. And the campaign team is not relenting. They still keep saying there's a strong reason why they are in this disadvantaged position, and that's because of the widespread, orchestrated, unfair competition leading up to the voting day. Here at the media center, the Ganjar Mahfud spokesperson, Arya Bima, earlier told media that there's been anomalies, especially in pockets of their strongholds such as East Java, Central Java, and Bali. They were so confident earlier on that they would win at least those three big provinces, mainly Bali, because with over 82% approval ratings in Bali, they don't even need to go so hard on their campaign rallies there. But now that the quick count results showing very, very small wins for those three areas, they said this is bizarre, it is unusual, and there has to be more questions put in place to the electoral organizers. And so at the moment, I've been speaking to political analysts and academics, and they're quite in consensus to say that with the spread so far, it's more than 10%, you know, that the difference between Anies, between Ganjar, between Prabowo, like the spread is quite huge. It's unlikely that there's much, you know, vote rigging happening. Probably what they would like to propose to Bawaslu would be a reminiscent, a deja vu of the 2019 election, which showed that Prabowo did not succeed in contesting the election results.
And thanks for that. Olivia Marzuki live from the Ganjar Pranowo headquarters in central Jakarta. And we'll have more from our correspondents later on this bulletin. Let's get, for now, some analysis on the incoming numbers. Andy Bayuni, senior editor at the Jakarta Post, and Dewi Fortuna Anwar, she's research professor at the National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN. And they're live with me in our studio in Jakarta. It bears mentioning that Madam Dewi, or Professor Dewi, there was also chair of board of directors for the Habibie Center, and that matters because you were assistant to Habibie himself when he was vice president and president again, or president in 1999 when he took over with the fall of Suharto. And Habibie, we have to give him full credit for being the man who returned Indonesia to the first truly democratic parliamentary elections in 1999, the first since 1955. All right. From then till now, you'd imagine progress. Have you seen it?
Well, we expected that Indonesia's democracy will get better, will get stronger, will be totally consolidated. After all, you know, if it is a person, it is becoming a young adult. From 1998 to 2024, it is 25 years is already that we are enjoying democracy. And so we expected that with the elections of President Joko Widodo in 2015, we expected that to be, you know, the beginning of our onward democratic journey without any interruptions, that will only get better and better. So, but now it's a turnout, you know, for me personally, we have been talking about Indonesia's democratic regression. Political scientists and observers of Indonesia have been talking about democratic regression.
Over what period would you call regression?
Beginning of the second period of Joko Widodo. So from 2018 up according to the Freedom House, in fact, Indonesia's democratic stagnation and degradation already started from 2016 onwards. But it really got worse in the second period, because during that time, President Joko Widodo succeeded in creating a big tent government in which he more or less controlled 83% of the votes in parliament. So no opposition.
If I could just counter that. The point of getting 83% of the parliament on your side is so that you can do, as President Widodo felt, the right thing for the country with minimum curbs on the things that he felt Indonesia really needed. But you don't agree with that?
I agree, but in a good democracy, check and balance is still very important. And the independence of the court remains very important. Parliament is supposed to exercise, its check and balance. And if Parliament is not doing it, civil society is supposed to be doing the check and balance.
Civil society. Now, you've been with Jakarta Post a very long time. When I quoted this to you earlier, Professor Derry said, maybe you wrote this. This was in the Jakarta Post in October. We must raise a red flag over the probity of the upcoming election. The game appears rigged to give certain players the upper hand. You'd agree with that?
Well, this came out after the Constitutional Court decision to allow Jokowi's son to run as vice president. There were questions about how this happened, and later the Ethical Council of the court found there was a violation of the ethics by the chair of the court. So, I mean, we were right in that time in calling this, questioning the decision, and this is affecting or undermining the integrity of this election. And then from then on, there were other violations of ethics, again proven. This time, I think the last one was by the Electoral Commission. They were found to be in violation of the ethics in some of the decisions. And the sad thing is that nothing was taken. All the decisions that they made, although in violation of the ethics, they stand. And this is how the election today happened, in spite of all those problems.
We shall see, though, because both Anies and Ganjar are hinting at possible legal challenges. We'll follow up with our guests later on this bulletin on what those legal challenges might be. Might they work? And if they don't work, what can we look forward to or not look forward to in a Prabowo Subianto administration? Back to you, Dawn.
Thank you, Wesu. We'll be back with more coverage from Wesu later on in the show. And you can also head over to our website, cna.asia, for all the live updates on Indonesia's election.